And somehow we're back. I'd like to welcome everyone to this newest edition of 7 Minute Takes. I'm your host, Jason Malcolm Stewart. And yes, it's been more than a year and a half since we have been live with an episode. And in that year and a half, as you can imagine, much has occurred, much that has been quite challenging. But we're glad to say, with great enthusiasm, 7 Minute Takes is back. We will be back with regular reviews and interviews as part of our coverage of the best of indie horror. I am very excited to be, again, broadcasting and putting these YouTube videos together. The most exciting part is we now will be affiliated with the great horror website, horroraddicts.net. If you are familiar with Horror Addicts, that will be our new hosting partner for both 7 Minute Takes' interviews, as well as some of our reviews. Very happy to be now affiliated with Horror Addicts. I've known the folks there for a number of years, especially the founder and executive editor, Marion Rich. And the opportunity to work with them is going to be very exciting. But as we are back into the game of reviewing the best in independent horror, action, and exploitation, we want to talk about a film that is out today in North America, VOD. A film coming from the Dark Star Pictures house, a 2018 action thriller that is now being released here in America called The Prey. And The Prey, directed by Jimmy Henderson and starring Byron Bishop, Sahajak Monthanakit, Nopan Buanali, Vitha Parisnigam, and Gu Shengwei. Forgive all the difficulty in my pronunciations. Is a very to the point, well constructed, and solidly completed action thriller in the Hong Kong style. If you're a fan of the Wu series of films, especially James Wu's early work like The Killer and A Better Tomorrow, you're going to find a lot to enjoy about The Prey. Some of the cast will be familiar to watchers of international independent film. Our villain, Bithya Parnisagram, and I'm sure I'm butchering it, but you'll remember him from Only God Forgives. If you're a fan of independent action film, he plays the sinister warden in this most recent retelling of The Most Dangerous Game. Yes, yet another adaptation of The Most Dangerous Game. It's actually going to be celebrating its 100th birthday, or at least the novel version of it will be celebrating its 100th birthday soon. And of course, everyone from Lionel Atwill to Ice-T over the years has gotten in on the fun of the Most Dangerous Game plot. We had a Blumhouse remake of it just last year, and so there's some tried and true tropes about, of course, elitism and the nature of humanity and the inner savagery of society and the thin veneer of civility and all those good things that The Most Dangerous Game addresses. However, this particular film kind of doesn't spend a lot of time reminiscing over adaptations past. It gets right to the point. The synopsis reads, undercover Chinese cop Jin, newcomer Zhu Zhengwei, is on a secret international mission when a surprise raid puts him in a remote Cambodian jungle prison that plays by its own rules. Ruthless Warden, again, our villain, Vithya Parnasagram, and again, forgive me for the pronunciation, but of course, if you remember Only God Forgives, you'll remember him, sells prisoners as human prey for rich hunters looking for thrills in the jungle. And again, tried and true aspects of the Most Dangerous Game adaptation are at play here, but you'll find some very solid performances here, both in terms of the fight choreography, the stunt action, as well as a decently performed and acted ensemble performance. Zhang Wei, as a newcomer, acquits himself decently. There's a lot reminiscent of a young Jet Li in him, in both look and fighting style. And so I think that this might be a start of what could be a very solid career in international action films for Zhang Wei. Again, our friend Mr. Pardonisagram does a wonderful over-the-top job as the requisite sadistic warden that has to be a part of always of these type of films. He gets the right balance between the self-promotion and the sadism in this film. Again, without spoiling any of the plot terms, this is again a really solid take on the Most Dangerous Game trope. You'll probably be able to guess along with the film on most of the plot turns. I did as I watched the film, but I did find myself pleasantly surprised by the depth of the characterization, and again, the stunt performances are very solid. Henderson himself has some bona fides in indie film, and this is a very solid effort. I would expect to see him get a shot at least a middling budget actioner down the road from a major studio, if we ever get back to actual film production. But that's a topic for another time, when I'm sure we'll be broaching in the future as we are, again, back in the saddle to talk about all things independent film, both horror, action, and exploitation. So, the drama has built, and the question is now, what's the Vader count? The Vader count, a very solid 3.5 Vaders. Very solid, a very fine effort by Mr. Anderson and the cast here. Worth your watch. Again, available as this will drop tomorrow morning. Available today, August 21st. Viewer on demand. Check your sites for where you might find The Prey. And once again, it's great to be back with you. Great to be starting up again with 7-minute takes. We already have a number of exciting films in terms of reviewing, and a number of interviews already lined up. And again, look for us on the horroraddicts.net site. We will be appearing there as well, as they will be carrying portions of 7-minute takes on that very fine horror-dedicated site. If you haven't checked it out, please do so. If you haven't had a chance to check us out previous to this episode, please subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. And feel free to go back through the back catalog of our previous broadcast episodes. Still available up on YouTube. Still enjoying being part of the discussion about independent film, and looking forward to being a regular part of your YouTube watching habits. Again, this is your host, Jason Malcolm Stewart. It's wonderful to be back, wonderful to be with you, and I'll catch you on the flip side.